So apparently I've forgotten how to mount and dismount, so this video is me practicing, which is crazy considering I've been riding for 2.5 years, but we thought we'd come out and do it on the grass as well. Okay, first one weren't too bad. Been practicing. I've taken the power knobs off and put pads back on the apex just to hopefully see if it'll make it a bit easier. Okay, 2 in a row. Couldn't do this outside my house for some reason. I don't know why. So push down this leg in this way. If you've the reason for it, well, I think the reason for it is this leg had some sort of injury or some sort of muscle sprain on it, and it weakened it, and because it weakened it, and this is my predominant leg to kind of stand on that side to get the other side on and push off on, all I kept on doing is pushing on there and then literally holding on to the front of the wheels and kind of pushing off that way, which obviously isn't the right way to do it. And you know, if you go back to my videos 3-4 months ago, I was absolutely fine, and literally overnight it just changed and I couldn't actually get on the wheel properly. So I thought best thing to do is try and strengthen this muscle up and keep doing step-ons as well, and just getting back to basics. And I've been watching loads of how to ride unicycle videos again, which is again a bit bizarre but helpful. There's some really good videos out there about how to do it, and predominantly my left leg on here pushing up against the side of the wheel, and my right to kind of the back and the side to push off and then hop on. And that's the bit I just couldn't get. And I can feel the muscle on my leg, my left hand leg, is definitely weaker than it used to be. So the more I can do this, the more I can strengthen this up, I think the easier it will come back again. And I need to not go back to the spaghetti legs. I'm on the Apex NOSFET, or NOSFET Apex I should say. I have lowered the suspension a bit as well, just to make it a bit easier. Still got suspension, but it makes it easier for me to get on. It's still got, you know, like I said, it's got enough. It's got enough for trails and roads and stuff. But I'm finding with the pads, being locked on these pads, it is making it a little bit easier, but I can definitely feel all the muscle here on my, I suppose, on the thigh of my left leg, and that is aching, and that's clearly that's had some muscle problems and some issues, and it runs into my back a little bit. So I'm not going to overdo it, but I need to come out and just keep doing this so I can get back on and make it easier. Because when you're riding, and you're riding, you know, on roads and streets and stuff, or at your traffic lights, you don't want to be mucking around. You need to be kind of away and gone. So that's the plan, is just keep doing it and keep getting better again and strengthening the legs back up again, because they're clearly the muscles have you know, the muscles in the left is out of whack. I've had did have a kind of massage on that as well, just to make sure that, you know, I can get back to normal. But you can definitely feel there is definitely where the problem has, or was, or still is to a degree. It's just a matter of keeping doing this. On grass, I am wearing knee pads and arm pads. It's really hot today, so when I go when I ride up past this or go on from this, I'll put my helmet back on. It's just nice and easier to kind of learn and to talk, to be honest. That's definitely a bit better. Got a little bit of suspension. I think that needs a bit of. I think that needs a bit TLC. So you're in trouble with the Apex. I think it needs a bit more maintenance than I do on any of the other wheels, which I suppose I should do. People out enjoying the sunshine, a few dog walkers, but largely the park is quite quiet, which isn't really nice. I don't want too much attention unless it's people that just want to understand how to do it, which I'm more than happy to talk about. Just don't want the Karens, right? I'm getting used to not riding again, but mounting and dismounting again. My mounting has just been atrocious, if I'm honest, in the last sort of 3 months. And I thought it was something I'd done. I thought that, you know, for whatever reason I'd just forgotten overnight. And I jumped on a couple of friends' smaller wheels, and I could get on those quite easily. So I think it's with the bigger wheels, they're a bit more weighty, and you need to use that leg muscle a bit more, and I think that's just kind of not wasted away, but I think it's definitely had some problems and got weaker. So the more I can practice and do this, obviously the better it's going to be, and hopefully that will improve the you know, the pulling away and stuff. So what I'll do, I mean, any tips, but I mean, I'm kind of doing largely what I did before my injury, and obviously what other people are showing like on videos. So let me know what you think. So on starting position, leg push off, on. I think the key as well is when I first started riding, I panicked a lot of getting on. And actually you don't really have to panic. You just need to take your time, push off, and be a bit more kind of loosey-goosey and relaxed. So that's what I'm kind of trying to go back to. I think I've got a lot tense lately, and I think that's partly because of the injury. And obviously the more you do stuff, the easier it becomes. So I'm trying not to twist my body. The other thing I found as well is when we've been out riding and it's been windy, and I don't know whether anyone else experiences this, but when you go out riding and it's windy, the wind, I tend to compensate by twisting my body, and my body tends to kind of get really achy afterwards, obviously because it's twisting in a certain way. Tried different ways, but that's another thing I'm trying to kind of get away from it all doing, you know, the bad stuff. So like basically I don't hurt myself just by normal riding or making my back. I mean, I'm in my 50s now, so everything generally hurts or aches in the morning anyway. So the less I can I can do to contribute to that, the better. But to be honest, wheels do help. I mean, the exercise and the muscle strength you do gain by doing this is brilliant. I just appear to have lost a bit on my left leg, which is a shame because that's my predominant one to push on. And if it was the right leg, it wouldn't be so bad, I don't think. The other thing I'm struggling with is left-hand turns. But I've got to get used to doing more turns and kind of looking where I'm going rather than looking at the wheel. Whee! But again, getting on more testing, or just jumping on less twist though. I need to stop that twist at the beginning. Less twisting and more just pushing off rather than anything else. Alright, push off, no twisting. Straight on. Right, let's try some more left-hand turns. Right, I don't know why my left-hand turns used to be okay, but I need to trust the wheel more to do what I do. My right-hand turns are fine. Right-hand turns are fine. I mean, I'm right-handed, so I'm a righty, so I'm not a lefty, but maybe, I don't know if that's the case or whether, you know, twisting with my top of my body, but I think the legs aren't kind of following. So yeah. Oh, other good news, my aero is now in at E-Rides, so I'm hoping it's Thursday as I record this. Hopefully they'll post it for, or you know, have it delivered tomorrow. I'm not really in a position to go and collect it unless I go, I know, some point later tonight if I can. But yeah, we'll see. If not, definitely next week. That will help with the practice, to be honest, as well. A smaller wheel, and I think it's got about 20-25 mile range, so it's going to be all right. Yeah, the point, like I said, the point of this is to strengthen my left leg muscle up. I can definitely feel it's weak, and the weird thing is nothing's happened. I've not had an accident, I've not it on or off the wheel, I've not done anything. I think I've obviously strained it somewhere or somehow, and it's all down. If it was the lower leg, it wouldn't be so bad, but because it's the upper leg is kind of where you push all your strength down onto the wheel, and because of that, that's where I'm finding it weak, and I think I'm compensating. When I put my hand on the front of the wheel, I'm compensating because of that. And once you do that, then you kind of, you know, you're not learning how to get on the wheel properly, and to be honest, you're more unstable because you're looking down, grabbing the wheel, when actually what you should be doing is looking forward and just stepping on the wheel calmly. And I think because I haven't been able to do that, I've put extra pressure probably on my back as well, and my back's been hurting because I've been arched over trying to grab onto the front of the wheel and go that way. So like I said, I've done some changes. I've dropped the suspension on the apex a little bit, and not too much, a couple of teeth, so I'm only about 2 or 3 rather than sort of midway. I've taken off the power knobs and I've put on normal pads for now. I have got some of the new Grizzler pads coming. I'm not sure what wheel I'm going to use it on, whether they're going to be the Aero, whether it's going to be this or the Sherman, but again, you know, choice of pads helps. There's nothing wrong with the power knobs. I think for whatever reason, on this wheel perhaps I'm finding it easier on normal pads, and it gives me something to lean up against to, you know, when I get on. So I think that's helping. And like I said, more of it is just pure practice. It's pure getting on, getting off, getting on, getting off, mounting, get going, and things like that. So I think the more I can do with that, the more natural it comes back again, and hopefully my leg muscles will strengthen up. Friends suggested some squats as well, so I've been trying to do a few squats, and again strengthening the muscles up. So again, the more of those sort of things I can do, the better, because you know 90% of your muscles that you use for unicycling is your legs. So you know, if that is a bit weaker or a bit off, and what I had found, and this may well have contributed to it, is that my pads weren't quite sitting in the right place, so I've done those right, but also I was also going or kind of veering to one side, and that hurt my back, and I think that's because of the leg. I think because I'm overcompensating for that being weak, then my body was pulling to the other side. So again, I'm hoping those sort of things will help. Anyway, let's do a bit more practice, and then I'm gonna grab a coffee, I think. Okay, I'm gonna try this again. On. Think about it, go forward, look forward, still a little bit of a twist, and right over dog shit. Typical. Right, let's come back round again, try again. Sit nice and gentle, and then bring your other foot in. Once the foot's on, you can just sort of shuffle that in. So I'm going to try a bit more gentle, lean over a little bit just to so you compensate for the wheel, push off, get on. And for someone new, if you've never ridden a unicycle before, it can be quite daunting. I remember the first time I learned, it took me well over a month to learn, but once it clicks, it's fine. Like I said, for whatever reason, my leg muscle had become quite weak. You can definitely feel it now I've been kind of exercising it a bit more. And I go riding quite a lot, but the trouble is it's off-putting, it's a bit embarrassing, and it's a little bit dangerous the way that I've been trying to sort of mount the wheel, because like I said, if you're on a road, or you know, you're pulling up to traffic lights and then you've got to pull away, obviously you might have traffic or cars that, you know, using the same road, and you need to be on it, you need to be, you know, on it and away. So the safer and calmer you can get on one of these, the better. And to be honest, I think that is quite key when you're learning the first time. Learn your mounting and dismounting before anything else, because that'll put you in good stead for not only riding, but you know, stopping, starting and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm by no means an expert, but you wouldn't believe it, but I've been riding for about 2.5-3 years now, and just getting back to having some muscle again. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you found it either helpful if you're new to riding, yeah, keep it here. I'll be doing some more stuff. Got some rides and stuff coming up. We're actually going out to Bruges in Belgium in September, I think it is. So if you are in Belgium and you're one of the guys from Belgium that watch this and ride this, it doesn't have to be a unicycle if you're a one-wheeler and stuff like that. I'm hoping to meet up with Vinny in that weekend as well. I'm going to probably take the aero, so just, you know, show us around, show some rides and stuff like that. We'll be there from, I think, late Friday afternoon to there's a fly bugging me now, late Friday afternoon to kind of Sunday afternoon, and then we have to head back. So it's a bit of a long weekend, but hopefully it should be fun. There's 2 of us coming over, so if you're about, it'll be great to meet everyone. And if there's a group ride that you guys usually do on a Friday night or a Saturday night or something like that, then give us a shout, Hopefully we can meet up. Anyway, take it easy guys, bye.